Peace, everyone. Welcome to Moorish Monday with Abdullah El Talib Mosi Bey. I am so excited. I am very excited. We have an awesome show to set for you tonight. Before we get to our guests, I want to give a wonderful, loving shout out to Brother Hank. I've been on this platform, the Magnet Crystals Pyramid YouTube platform for a year and a half now. Hank reached out to me in November 2023 and offered this platform, the Moorish Monday. And so at Moorish Monday with Abdullah El Talimo Sibay, please hit that like button, subscribe. He's had other shows, other guests throughout the week. So check them out. All right. So today's topic: trust and contractor legal safeguard overview. Live testimonies from students. As you know, some of you know, we had been marketing the class for 6 months. The course started 4 weeks ago. So we just completed our fourth session this past Saturday, and I thought it'd be fitting to bring in some of the students to hear from. For you can hear live testimonies from. I think we have 5 students plus myself, and Israel, so we 7. Brother King Albay will be joining us in about 10 minutes. He is the teacher of the course. I'm going to introduce. We have Sister Kasha be joining us. Is she on now? So who's with us? We have Brother Cora. We have Amanda Siegel. We have Glenn, and I don't see Mark and Akasha right at this moment. Are they on? So, and then King, but Israel is also will be giving his testimony as well as myself. And I said, Brother King will be on in about 10 minutes. So this is the 12-week course, Trust and Contractor Legal Safeguard. So we're going to get right to it. Before I get right to it, go to my website, mooresandmasonry.org. It's mooresandmasonry.org. You don't see anyone else in the backstage, Mark and Akasha, Brother Hank. Yeah. All right, so I guess they're not backstage right yet. So, so Israel, we're going to, as you said, let me finish here. The Moorish Union, the Trust and Contractor Legal Safeguard Overview, live testimonies from students, Moorish. She's Sister Kasha's backstage, Hank. She just texted me. I'll get. This is the Trust and Contractor Legal Safeguard Overview, live testimonies from students, Moorish Union of Sovereign Tribes, in conjunction with Moroccan Post School of Government and International Law. So, Israel, we go to the next slide, and we'll. Let me contact Hank. You hear me, Hank? Kasha is backstage. Mute your mic, Brother Glenn.
Okay.
All right, take over, Israel. I'll come back.
All right. So this is the Trust and Contractual Legal Safeguards. This 12-week course provides an in-depth exploration of trust, contracts, and the legal mechanisms that safeguard them. Our course, Master Trust Functions, discover the role of a trust protector, intellectual property law, demystify assigners and assignees, understand power of attorney, navigate licensing, lending, and renting, strengthen your contracts, and much more. The date that it began was May 10th, 2025. Duration, 12 weeks. Starting date, Saturday, May 10th, 2025, from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. format, 100% online with live question and answer sessions. Tuition, $299.99. For more information, contact Brother Abdullah El Talib Mosey Bey at 215-300-5471 or via email at etymologyvocabulary@gmail.com. Trust and contractual legal safeguards. Teacher, King El Bey, began May 10th, 2025. Next class is June 7th, and that will be week 5. Duration, 12-week schedule. Course outline and overview. This 12-week course provides an in-depth exploration of trusts, contracts, and the legal mechanisms that safeguard them. Each week builds upon the last, offering a comprehensive understanding to help you navigate and apply these concepts effectively in both personal and professional contexts. The dates for the 12-week contract and legal safeguards course, Saturday, they're going to be all on Saturdays. So we have May 10th, 2025. That was the first week. May 17th, 2025. Second week. The third week, May 24th, 2025. The fourth week, May 31st, 2025. The fifth week, June 7th, 2025. The sixth week, June 14th, 2025. And June 21st, 2025, the date is pushed back. There's a human rights, the nationality conference scheduled for that date. So this class will be pushed back. And then, so on and so forth. June 28th, 2025, July 5th, 2025, July 12th, 2025, July 19th, 2025, July 26th, 2025. And it would have to extend to, let me see, July 26th.
August something.
August 2nd? Yeah, August 2nd,
right.
2025. All right, yeah, appreciate it. So week 1, it was the introduction to trust. We discussed the introduction to trust. Students learned the fundamentals of trust, including definitions, purposes, and the roles of the settlor, trustee, and beneficiary. This foundational week set the stage by discussing the legal basis and common uses of trust in estate planning and asset protection. Week 2, types of trust and their functions. This week explored different types of trust, such as revocable, irrevocable, living, testamentary, and special needs trust. Students will understand how each type functions and the responsibilities involved in managing trust assets. Week 3, benefits and limitations of trust. Students will examine the advantages of using trust, including asset protection, tax considerations, and estate planning benefits. The week also covers the limitations and risks associated with trust and strategies to mitigate them. Week 4, the role of a trust protector. This week introduces the concept of a trust protector and their importance in trust administration. Students will learn about their duties, powers, and how they can modify trust terms, oversee trustees, and resolve disputes.
All right. So we said we've finished up our 4th session this past Saturday. I'm going to hand the mic over to Brother Cara as he has to leave early. So, Brother Cara, you have been and I've seen all 4 participated in all 4 sessions. You took a trust course, and oftentimes you have compared and contrast your experience with your previous trust class with this current one. All right, you have the floor, brother.
All right. Good afternoon, Ken folk. Yes, I did take a couple of. Let me retract that. I took what I now know to be a few trust infomercials, as I call them, because a lot of the information that we covered was not in depth to the way the class is. So this is my first time attending a class as far as being 12 weeks, consistent, structured. You can see a huge difference. The intent of the infomercial trust courses that I attended, I'm not going to say that it was bad in any way. However, it was more in line with you went there with a certain mindset that you wanted to accomplish something. Right or wrong, you knew where you was going, but with those blinders on, it kept you away from the actual totality of what a trust actually stands for and what it can actually do. So you kind of got lost in the information just by holding on what you came in with. For instance, the first time I set my trust up was in 2012, and I set up a trust in name only. When I say in name only, it said trust on it. All the inner workings were completely wrong. Brother King often says that if you don't have management of the trust, you don't have a trust. And I had no management of the trust. I just had something that said trust. And the second time I did it was in 2020. I had a little bit more information, but again, the management was totally off. So as I'm in the course now, I can just slowly see how the information debunks everything that was given to me the first two times, whether it be lack of the full total understanding of a trust, whether it be lack of the rest of the information of certain positions of the trust, partly by my own oversights, whether the instructors knew, whether they didn't know. It's a huge difference between a 12-week course and an infomercial. Oftentimes in what I call trust infomercials, there'll be like one-day seminars, one-day webinars where you attend for 3 hours, 8 hours. One question in the seminar or webinar will take you totally off basis. And by the time you get back on, the seminar is over. You done paid money. The next time, they'll answer your question for the next payment, so to speak. Or I've attended trust infomercials where the instructor will give a little bit of information, but the intent is for you to come to them and allow them to set everything up. So this course has been phenomenal as far as explaining everything in detail at a pace where we don't move forward, or you don't move forward if it's not grasped, because without grasping the topic, you couldn't do the next step. And I appreciate that. I really appreciate that.
What Brother Carl was talking about. All right, brother Hank. King is backstage. You hear me? King is backstage. I might have to go connect with Hank. All right. So, but brother, Cara was talking about management. Managing the trust. So one thing that King does emphasize, and this is what Cara was alluding to when they mentioned management, is how to manage the trust. So that is one point, that's major point of emphasis, and that King has done that with ad nauseum, putting great emphasis on managing the trust. And what Cara mentioned is that if you don't know how to manage a trust, do you have a trust? So that's what Cara was talking about. Anything else you want to say, Brother Cara?
No, that's pretty much that's pretty much everything. Again, I'm enjoying the course. I'm sitting there doing a comparative analysis with the information that I gathered over the years. It's as we break down the information, I can see what actually the grantor, the trustee, the beneficiaries, the trust protector, the roles that they play as it totally comes together, not just as you trying to protect your asset or trying to hide an asset or keeping the quote unquote government off of you, so to speak, but actually how you can use it to progress your day-to-day life from a contractual standpoint in the way we're supposed to be used in the trust, because they're used all around us all the time. And you never really think about it. In fact, one of the other things of the class that it shows is that you're involved in trust sometimes whether you know it or not. Being in the church, you see a trust in action all the time. And you might not ever even think about things from that aspect. In other organizations, you see trust enacted around you at all times. And so as he covers the management, you can kind of see it. You can see it come out. And like I say, I appreciate that. I'm able to tune in and actually see the inner workings and decipher what is what, to know which direction that we want to take our trust in. And for that, I'm grateful.
Brother Israel, remove the screen, unshare, so we can be full, so that we can, we don't need the screen anymore. All right, great. All right, so I'll be back. Who's going to be next? Because I got to go let King know that King is backstage. All right, so we're gonna, Amanda, you're up. All right, so give us your testimony. I will be back. I have to let Hank know that King is backstage.
Okay, so similarly to Kara, I have been gaining a lot of insight from this class from King, and the way that he's kind of pulling out or pointing out the nuances of how the trust is managed, how it's administered, how it's being able to be protected. A lot of this stuff I had not thought of before. I just kind of put everything into one bundle called the trust, and I didn't really understand. That's why I never personally had one, and I had looked into trying to create one, but I couldn't figure out like what my intention was with it, so I never got there. But what King has been doing is he's been showing us that your trust it has to have a purpose for it, and it is drawn out and written out in such a way that that purpose is able to be fulfilled. And going about having having everything written out in such a way that it's able to be managed, and you're able to ensure that it is ultimately the beneficiaries or whoever's to benefit from that trust is going to do that, and your intention for that trust is going to be fulfilled. None of these things I had ever previously thought.
Please, excuse me, Amanda. Please, mute your mics, everyone. Mute your mics. Except Amanda. Everyone except Amanda.
So, yeah, I mean, that's really mostly it. It's everything especially as we're getting into it in this past week, has really been even more so. It's all been starting to really come together, and it's like I don't know, I had almost like a skeleton of what I thought a trust was, or whatever concept I had was, and now King is kind of filling in the meat to that skeleton, and he's giving us stuff in a way that we're able to look at it from the principles, as opposed to just specifically, okay, you need to do this, this, and this, and we're able to take this principle and kind of apply it in wherever it fits for us and for our intention for that trust. Mm-hmm. And so it's been a good experience, and I'm looking forward to learning a lot more in the upcoming classes.
I'll definitely get back to you, Amanda. We'll have everybody give their introduction. All right. I know Brother Carver, you have to go. You can go anytime you're ready, because I know you have to get up tomorrow.
All right.
Appreciate
you. Appreciate
all right, thank you. Thank you, Brother Carver.
Thank you all.
All right, peace.
Peace.
Glenn. Let's hear from you.
Okay, yes. My experience with this is that it pretty much shows you how government is run. Running a trust is no different from running a government because so running the trust, there's different. You have a micro level where yourself, your family, your assets, your business. And then on another higher level, you have a community trust that you can use to implement certain um, situations for the community to help, bring the community up. And then you have the social trust, which is like a trust that manage a whole nation. So it's very fascinating to me. I mean, it's the things that you can do. I'm learning that you can do with the trust is is uh, is unbelievable. I mean, you can use it to protect your own persona. I mean, we don't realize how we're just walking around here naked without trust. So I'm learning a lot. This is all brand new to me, but you got to start somewhere. And I'm starting right here with you guys.
All right, Sister Akasha, this is the introduction. Sister Akasha,
Peace. Okay.
peace,
Yes,
peace.
I am. Sorry.
That's all right.
I'm
That's all
grocery
right.
shopping right now. I was
I'm,
trying to hurry up and get back to the car.
I'm glad
But
that you on. All right.
yes.
You want to go? Tell you what. I can have Marco. Are you ready? I can have Marco. You don't have to go now.
Okay. Yeah,
All
I
right.
can go
Well,
after. I'm trying to wrap
yeah.
it up so I could.
All right. All
Okay.
right.
All right.
Islam Hotep in Lakesh. The class is amazing. The takeaway that I have had from the class personally that I always enjoy is fundamentals. Because I think one of the most important things for you to be able to achieve something that's going to have long lasting fruition is fundamentals. And Kang is really coming with the proof of law, the statutes, the vocabulary. I have a list of vocabulary that I got to go through just so that to be able to get a better grasp on how the other students are already saying to be able to better manage the trust. Because before this, one of the big things that I was looking into for trust is like many is for protection, but lacking the understanding of those fundamental pieces that help really give it protection. And not only protection, one of the big things that Kangale also shows us is to escalate it. So don't start with the real complicated trust. Start with something that you need. What's your purpose first? And then once as you start developing more, you're able to put that trust to execute better things for what you need. And that's one of the things I think one of the learning about trust, we want to come out with the biggest guns, the biggest weapons that we can put. But a lot of the time, something simple and well managed is going to be a lot more effective than the largest gun, but you don't know how to use it. So
That's an excellent analogy. Excellent analogy.
I
All
personally
right.
been really enjoying it, and I also been enjoying the Q&As while the class is going on. So he'll pause to be able to give us further understanding and then also challenges to critically think, which I think is super important. Because one of the big things with the trust, you can have the information, but if you're not critically thinking to solve the problem that you haven't thought about, then when that happens, it's going to really stumble you.
You done with the introduction? All right. Well, Israel.
Peace, peace. So yeah, the class is it's healthy, man. Like I said, I've had a lot of I was studying different people, listening to different people talk about trust here and there. So I had a lot of terms, words, I knew a lot about a lot of trust words and terms. But as far as principles wise, like I've never heard anyone mention principles. Use the principles to draft the trust. You drafting the trust around principles. As far as that, like I said, I just had a lot of information. It was bouncing around, so it was kind of unhealthy. It's like I was at a dead end. So King is bringing, the key, unlocking that door, showing there's no dead end. We just have to learn to read. It's all about the rules, following those rules, following the legal principles. Like that's really it. That trust is somebody mentioned, like it's like shows you how government functions as well. So that's showing how we need to operate as a unit. So we need to unite, on the principle of unity. That trust will help with that, showing that there are different positions. Each one can play a different position, based on the knowledge that they have. So yeah, trust. Yeah, you can use it for your household as well to get your house in order. Yeah,
And that would be a family trust. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the family trust. Right. Yeah.
All right, I'll go and then I'll bring up our sister Akasha. Well, I was saying this to Amanda yesterday and Israel, and I said, well, part of my testimony would be as we read the summary of the first 4 weeks. We had marketed the 12-week course outline summary. And I had read it several times over the period of 6 months as we were marketing it. I'm sharing it and posting and reposting it and sending to different Telegram groups. And I'm reading it. And it was now going through the first 4 weeks, those first 4-week summaries have now jumped off the page. It has now come to life. And I was thinking saying to Amanda and Israel, I can see those who had read the course summary, as I did, as they were, thinking about taking the course, and as y'all had read the course, 12-week course summary, and thinking about taking the course, and actually are in the course. It was some of this, it was like little fuzzy, and you're reading words and you're seeing trust protector and assigner and assignee and management of trust, and but now that you actually hear the explanations and the critical thinking and you're like, oh wow, it has more meaning. So I wanted to use this opportunity to bring students on, to talk about their experience and what they have learned so far in the course so that we can bring this to life. We will be selling the recorded. So the recorded version will be sold in about 3 months. Because we have 2 more months, 8 more classes, 9 more weeks. And so we also have a website it's under construction. So I won't give out the website address because it's under construction right now, and so as it's close to getting, so it'll be done in about a month or so, and so that's and the course will be sold on the website, and we also have course material, so actually the class is PowerPoint presented, and there's a lot of critical thinking, there's a great deal of engagement, and the first week, there was not as much of engagement. And I said to Israel and King, I'm used to this. We've done several classes. They're getting their feet wet with it. As you see, we go along, maybe after the second week, you'll see more engagement, more involvement. And guess what? You just had that happen, which I was not surprised, because now, because with the way King articulates the points with clear-cut, crystal clear clarity, with explanations and scenarios. He actually puts up scenarios on the screen and reads the different scenarios. So now, I love that teaching style, that teaching approach, where I actually have different scenarios and have the students, think about different scenarios. So so King does put great emphasis on, build the trust for you, for your needs. This great this trust with 30 pages or so, but what is the purpose of the trust? But I wanted the main part of my testimony is the course summary, and the course outline, that I didn't have a grasp on it, as I had read it for 6 months, but I now see the light. Come into the light. There's clarity into the light. All right. So, Sister Akasha, are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready now.
All
Can
right,
you hear
good.
me
Yes,
clearly?
you're loud and direct, clear.
Okay. Okay. So I want to say that apart from because the course is very, very comprehensive, and Brother King is very thorough. So I'm really getting an understanding of the ins and outs of how a trust works. Um, but what I also really like about it is the fact that he has more of a foundation to it outside of just giving us the information. He's building something that is going to be long lasting. He's tying it back to that generational wealth, um, in regards to, you know, being there to assist us when it is time for us to build trust. Like for me, I'm a mother, a wife. I have a family of my husband and I. We have 5 children, and so not only am I learning about building trust, I'm also learning estate planning. And as a Moor too, coming from the perspective of a Moor, I like the fact that he debunks, all the different misconceptions, because there's been misconceptions within the movement, within the community, and for me, I've always aligned with it. I've always knew who I was. That wasn't the question, but it was more so, who was it that I could be able to come to and really build with, and who was really bringing truth, and coming with integrity and nobility. And so I hope I'm not all over the place. Today was a busy day.
No, King, you
But yeah,
good. You're doing
I really,
well. You're doing well.
okay,
Good job. Continue.
yeah, I get anxious when I have to talk in front of people sometimes. But I really appreciate that. I really appreciate the fact that he's building this course, um, with longevity. It's not just, okay, I'm giving this to you and then you guys go out and do what you want. He's building it in a way where it is going to be a community thing. It's going to be an organization where we can come together and support each other and assist each other and help one another, as well as our families, because that's what it's about. It ties back into our families. You can't have community, you can't have a nation without families. Families are the foundation to that. So that's my 2 cents for now.
Brother King, I want you to talk about your insight with the students. I want us, how you think the course is going, the students' involvement. Also, I want you to ask us questions. I want you to ask us some questions about, uh, to get us to dig deeper, to pull more out of us about what we've been learning in the class. I want you to talk about the misconceptions that have been out there, about trust. All right.
Okay. So just give you a little history. So me being a teacher that teaching this class, I was reluctant not to, I had to do all of this research on my own. When I teamed up with Abdullah, I didn't know he was going to be my perfect dance partner. So as I structure how I think, so not only when I talk about trust, you get legal insight because I litigated a lot of litigation over the years, not just talking about or I'm a Moor and going into court and doing no. I talk from a jurist perspective. I teach from a jurist perspective. When I teach from a legal, as if you were a legal mind. I teach from that perspective. So when I'm giving the students this information, it's not, I'm not selling you a process or a different form of trust. I'm giving you substance, real education. And what I'm starting to notice when you give someone, when you feed someone truly how to fish, they start to respond appropriately. So as the time went on, the students felt more confident, and I seen that I built the confidence in them because I gave them substance. I built them up to be able to critically think, and people is starting to have aha moments. It's an aha. It's like a eureka moment. Like, wow, I understand what's going on. I'm starting to see what I didn't understand because most people were taught about trust. There was this talk about some documentation. I need a land trust. Okay, what is a land trust for? What are you trying to do? How you going to preserve the continuity of this land trust? What's all involved? Who is going to manage the trust? Most people don't talk about managing a trust at all. They tell you to file the trust, file it, put it on the record, and that's it. But they don't talk about the dynamics and the relationships. And I talk about corporations, I talk about contract law, we're getting into corporate law. We're talking about varieties of things because a state, LLC, is a corporation. It falls under that. And then it contracts. So we talk about contract law, and then an LLC can be owned by a trust. So you're talking about variations of different entities working together. And we was talking about co-mingling property, and I said you have to understand that term. You got to know, because a trustee, if he's doing certain things, it may not be considered co-mingling. It could be considered theft, embezzlement, larceny. So you got to understand particular framework, and you got to understand language. So most people haven't heard contractual safeguards. Most people never heard that. What do you mean legal safeguards? Yeah, those provisions in there is to protect the trust. And if you don't know what kind of trust you're setting up and the legal ramifications that need to be in the trust at that time, then you can be doing yourself a disservice because you wasn't properly understanding, and then you didn't know how to set the trust up to behave a certain way. Like you could be doing business out of a holding trust in which now to create minimum contacts now can get pierced. So you don't understand how to set up the trust for business and family, for leisure, for pleasure. You don't have all the components together because you can have a corporation licensed to manage trust property. So it's so many levels to this. And what I love about trust and understand law, it's all about ingenuity, critical thinking, evolving. So some of the misconceptions about trust is, a lot of Moors think that the United States Constitution is our Constitution, and they associated certain Moorish trust with certain things, and they believe like we got a nation, so they'll tell you we got a trust, and our trust represent that we are a nation, and that is a misconception of trust because we're dealing with territorial sovereignty, international law, and dealing with those international law applications. And we have to understand that. So most people don't even understand the international law application, let alone how I understand the legal system in totality. So from understanding the legal system and how it functions, because each legal system behaves different based on the legal system that you set up. Like a customary legal system is totally different from a religious legal system because based on how it's managed and who's well versed in that information, because we're talking about data, we're talking about information. Information rules a nation. So from a religious trust, from a customary, right? You're talking about customs. We're dealing maybe with customary laws and principles associated with customs. Now we might be dealing with a religious trust based on Islamic faith, dealing in Islamic law, Islamic codes. And if you're not real versed in Islamic codes, how you want to manage an Islamic religious trust? And you don't know the Quran backwards and forward. So understanding what you're doing and how to set up a trust, the purpose of the trust, and the ingenuity that went into that is very critical to exercising the management because it's all about management. And I want you to think, I'm going to use an analogy, right? Life is all about management. How you manage stress, how you manage your family, how you manage your bills, right? How you you manage your finance, right? So we managing every day. We don't even know what we're doing. So if you look at it from that perspective, and I'm showing you that trust is all about management. A lot of it is about the management of the trust and do the management company or whoever's managing it is well versed in the information because that makes a big difference. And understanding the jurisdictions that are applied. And it's very important to understand the Constitution when setting up a trust as it relates to fundamental rights, as it relates to public and private law, as it relates to intellectual property, copyright, as we talk about rights of publicity, to different aspects of legal conversations that you might need to have with a judge, another attorney, another trust or trustee. These things are very crucial to your understanding on how you're managing what you're doing. Because if you don't know how to manage the trust and you are improperly, what's going to happen is you're going to do something to allow the trust to get pierced. And how do you pierce the trust? By taking property that's already commingled, by taking property that's not yours and you claiming it as yours and putting it into your trust. If you take my property and put it in your trust, and I can identify and I know that you took my property, and I can identify the property you took, I have the right to go in your trust to go in. And the prime example is this. Let's say you my neighbor. I got you on camera. I watch you steal something out of my house. Because living in the community is based on trust, as it is. Don't you supposed to be living in a community where the police and all of these different people help protect, and they're acting as trust protectors, and you live in a community and the people around each other supposed to have some formulation of trust. You don't want to live next to some neighbors you know that's going to constantly break into your house. So it's all based in these concepts anyway, right? And the police is enforcing the trust. They're protecting the property of the community and of the city, right? That's what the court is there to help protect your rights and your property, right? Living in a civil society. So you watch your neighbor on camera break into your house, steal some items that's very valuable, and take it over there to their house. Do you have the right to go in their house and get your property? With the proper trust protector? Ain't the police gonna knock on the door as a trust protector and say, let me in? And I'm gonna command them to retrieve your property?
Hey, Brother King, I want you to now ask us some questions relative to the first 4 weeks. To pull more out of us. We gave our initial testimony about what we've been learning over the first 4 weeks, and you mentioned one of the, like I said, one of the points that really stands out to all of us is trust management. And you have said several times, if you don't know how to manage a trust, you don't have a trust.
Right.
Go into that, and then let's facilitate some questions regarding.
Okay. So when you talk about trust, is basically about management. As I said before, we're managing the trust. Just like I said, you're managing your life. It's all about management. It's some things I haven't even got into about. It's just unique about trust. It's terms that I haven't even spoke on, and I'm not gonna speak on yet. But it's very good to understand, like, how to manage a trust, even from the grave. How to keep your children on track, right? By incentivizing the trust, right? And utilizing wisdom. Even after your passing, wisdom can stay in the trust to prevent or promote, certain types of behaviors, right? To stimulate growth and development of children. Because I tell people, if you want to see a messed up world, mess up children. You will have a messed up world. If you mess up children, that's all you have to do is mess up children. They'll grow up to, you'll have a mess up world. So the job of the trust, of a family trust, and understanding trust and managing, it's not just to run the day to day, but also create value that then you create these values, this family value that the family stands on for eternity. You set a set of pride and principle based on wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Running the trust, it goes deeper than most people can understand about this information. Because if you had a trust, and let's say I pass and I leave my children something, I can set certain things in place to ensure or to promote their behavior to operate in a certain capacity. Or they won't receive the benefits of the trust that they were supposed to receive the benefits for. And then until they go back into the ways in which you taught them, right? Now they can go back and go reap the rewards of the trust because they remember. You blazed the trail, you set wisdom and things in place. And then you need a good trustee or a group of individuals that know how to manage a trust. And some of the stuff that I talk about, is most people don't understand, is that if you're setting up a trust, a lot of people don't talk about trust minutes or anything like that. Every quarter, within my grasp of working, you should come into contact with experts in different areas of law and technology. Your trust should not be the same in 5 years because there should be growth and development. At least every 3 to 5 years, the trust should evolve. Because didn't you evolve as an individual as you got older? Didn't your wisdom set in? Didn't knowledge set in? And how did that play a part in your life? These are things you need to understand when managing trust that most people don't teach. There's a different principle and concepts that I haven't even touched that we will get into in this course to allow you to think longevity to build, not just see, people think that wealth comes in the form of money. Wealth comes in the form of thinking, having a wealthy mindset. And it's not about money, it's about principles. It's about, and then those principles build integrity, character, value. Those things stand the test of time. Because you can model those things over and over and over and over and over and over and over again and set that up. So when we talk about managing a trust, you got to understand how well is the people managing the trust. Most trusts are ran and managed by law firms. Most individuals who got a trust, they got some documentation. They ain't got a trust. They mostly got documentation that they're going into court with and they trying to present that they can't explain. And when the judge start asking very hard questions, they don't know what it turns. They don't have the right contract, the right concepts. They don't even understand the type of trust that they develop. And they can't explain or identify the principles or the elements associated with that trust and how it was supposed to behave and how it's supposed to be managed. So let's get into management a little bit more. A trustee is supposed to manage a trust. A trustee don't necessarily have to manage the trust. A trustee, if a good trustee, he will hire an expert who knows a lot of information about the trust, in which then he can be a co-trustee, and then you can have a trust protector to manage the trust, to ensure the integrity of the trust stay alive and the principles in which the trust was developed for remain intact.
Hey, Brother King, I'm going to ask some questions. Sister Akasha, what having taken the first, going through the first 4 weeks, what do you see what do you envision for your kin folks in constructing a trust? What is your vision for your children and your what they call a family trust? What are you looking to do? What is you? Mhm.
I'm looking to, well, what I envision is for my family trust is a trust that is going to protect our assets. Um, and that starts with me educating myself, or me and my husband educating ourselves on it. Hence why I'm in this course, as well as educating our children on it so that they themselves will understand how to manage the trust when it gets to that time. I want the trust to be able to hold the thing. I want the trust really to be able to hold the land that our family has, our home, our real estate, and any assets that I would like to not only pass down to my children, but to pass down to at least my great grandchildren. That it's said in indigenous culture, what you do affects the next 7 generations ahead. So I want to start with at least the next 3 generations ahead, at least my great grandchildren. And if it can go past my great grand to my great too. But that's the basis of my family trust, of what I envision. What's up, Ruben?
Brother King, what are your thoughts on what Akasha said?
She's thinking in the right direction. At least you're supposed to be thinking at least 3 generations. That's at least 100 years, 200 to 300 years. Um, you also, she's talking about her purpose and what she's trying to build her trust on. So that is very crucial to understanding what she wants to set up. So yeah, I agree with what she said. I agree with her understanding of how she wants to view so that she could have sustainability and continuity for her family because that's what it's all about. So I'm in agreement with the sister, and as she learns more, she will be able to see significant details. I tell people the devil is in the details and how to really look at contracts, because not only will you be able to just look at trust, you'll come out of this with a little more knowledge on how to even look at a contract, even probably your own mortgage.
That thing, what was that last word, King?
I
You
said, I said, coming out of this course, they'll learn a lot about contracts, and they'll be able to probably even better understand how to read their own mortgage.
All right, I can see that where because we have 8 more classes. Definitely see that. Amanda, um, you and I were you had shared with me a trust yesterday, and we were actually going through some of the articles. And I have said to you, I said, when we were going through it, and I said, I understand parts of this, based on having taken the going through the first 4 weeks, and we could actually see the principles of trust protector. And what are your thoughts as we were going through that trust yesterday?
It showed
Try to
the
recall some of the conversation. I'm trying to recall some of the
yeah,
conversations we
no, I
had.
mean a lot of the things that Kang was referring to were made mention of in the trust, and there were things that he was talking about with regard to different protections that we were able to see written out in there, how it's written out, how we can, like, we were able to look at if there was something that we would want to change around for ourselves. It was, but a lot of those same principles, whether it had to do with like fiduciary self-dealing, what the trustee's powers are, what the trustee protector's authority is in order to remove the trustee, how the next selection of the next trustee would occur. And so we were able to see at least how it applied with this one particular template for a trust. We were able to see how that applied in this trust, exactly what he was talking about in class.
Yes, that's it. Legal safeguards. We actually saw some of the legal safeguards that we had learned that we're learning in the course. There was a removal clause. So they talked about a removal clause. There's a removal clause in that trust that Amanda presented to me yesterday, and the powers of the trustee, that and how detailed that's laid out. And so one of the points that King mentions with great detail is that we have to be detailed, and what do we want? We have to spell it out. And so we saw that spelled out, the great detail of, and it wasn't some complex language. It really wasn't. I mean, Amanda can bear witness. And we actually, I said, oh, I understand this because the principles are there, because the legal safeguards, you can actually see, the what's it called, the self-denying. What was that you mentioned, Amanda? Self-denying,
Self-healing.
Self-healing. I think it was spindrift clause. Yeah, spindrift clause, and the spindrift clause is that we have I'm gonna use Sister Akasha. She has children, and so the spindrift clause will prevent her children from just going on a spending streak. You know what I mean? Just blowing the trust assets. You know what I mean? So that's a spindrift clause. All right.
It also had to do something. It may have applied to the trustee or the beneficiaries, I don't recall, but a provision about using different substance use disorders, and
yes, substance
they may
abuse.
or may not be able to access or use the assets in the trust. if they test positive for certain things. And so there's provisions like that were in it. And
Yes. Yes, substance abuse clause. Absolutely. So these are safeguards. So the course, once again, is called trust, and it's not called trust. The course is not called trust. It's called trust and contractual legal safeguards. So that is the title. Just look at the title of the course is different, just by mere title. Where you would, y'all probably have never heard that combination. It was just a trust class. I'm taking a trust class. I'm taking trust. What's in it? I'm taking a trust class. We're taking a trust and contractual legal safeguard course. All right. And I actually was Googling, the relationship between trust and legal safeguards. And so that, as I said before, that I actually, the course summary, particularly the first 4 weeks of Come to Life, and even assignment. We have next week, this coming week, Saturday, we're going to be dealing with assignee, assigner. So my mind is already geared, because as King is preparing for the course material for class 5, assigner and signee. And I was, reading some up on that, and that you can assign, the property to a third party. So you have, if you have a contract. So Israel and I have a contract with Israel to teach his children etymology, and so I can assign that to a third party. So I can hire someone else to teach Israel's children. So I am assigning. I have the contract with Israel. I signed the contract with Israel to teach his children. I can assign that to a third party. All right. So that's what we're going to get into, the legalities, the benefits, of the signer and signee. That's for class 5.
I want to add on to this.
Yeah, please do. Yes.
I'm gonna add. So a lot of people don't talk about. So when we talk about status, a lot of people don't understand what is your status within a trust. Are you the assigner? Are you the assignee? That is a status. Why? Because your status is a person, place, or thing. It's a relationship with a person, place, or thing. So if I am the assignee, and you are the assignor, that is our status. And it's outlined how I supposed to, when I assign the property over to you, what was supposed to happen in the contract. If I'm the obligor and you the obligee, right? Then the settler said, hey, you the obligor, this is what you're supposed to do for the obligee. That is the status. So when you go to court and you talking about my status, and you got a trust, right? You identify what your status is by the contract. Do that make sense? Most people don't even talk on this kind of stuff, right? They don't tell you what is your relate? I'm the trustee. That's a status. That's a status. And a contract associated with your status determines your relationship within the trust. So when you get assigned the social security number, and they are the assigner and you're the assignee, right? That's your status. You're the assignee. And they assign the property over to you, right? And they tell you how you're supposed to act with the particular property. And you can't you don't get to tell the assigner what to do, because the assigner might have a settler that told him how he wants the property to be used, and they're acting in the act of an agent in which you are acting in the capacity of an agent, but they the assigner and you're the assignee. I hope I'm making sense to some of y'all. I shouldn't be teaching this, but I'm just giving y'all some insight on status. Status is the relationship between persons, places, and things. That's what status is. What is your relationship?
Are you the trust? Um, all right, let me. Kasha's backstage. Hold on. Brother Hank, you hear me? Kasha's backstage. Her phone, she had it dropped off. All right, so I'll be back. I got to call Hank.
So
Can't hear you, brother. Can
You're
you?
muted, King.
Yeah.
Brother Israel, since you've been around me this in totality about even before the course, what what do you what kind of perspective have you gained in this legal having legal insight and having understanding with trust? What is your thoughts on that?
Well, I've gained. Let me see. Was like I said, I didn't know anything about the legal principles at all. So that right there, I heard you mention principles so many times. It started clicking in. I had to go and look into what does it mean by these principles? What are these principles? Legal principles. Uh, so yeah, due process. I kind of I knew about due process, but you get more into depth with it. And you basically just going simple with it. You're going to the basics. So it's not like you're not flying high with it. You're actually going back low to the foundation. So, but yeah, like you said, trust. People were promoting trust the wrong way, just telling you to go foul this, foul that, and then something magical happens, I guess, So knowing what to look for, showing me what to look for, like the you want to look for your mistakes, errors, omissions, and defects. Hold on real quick, brother. Hold on. Abdullah's beeping.
What about you, Amanda? Since you um, me coming into the group and this getting a feel for information that I brought in totality, how 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 informed have you been, or what has insight that you gained?
Just, I mean, in totality, like, you're just making it a more understandable for me. You're putting it more into just basic language, and I mean, I don't know. I can't think of anything in particular to point to at the moment, but
What about you, Glenn? Since you came in contact in the course and this information, how well have it, what what have you learned and what your insight is?
What I've learned from you about this, the most critical thing is management. You have to know how to manage the trust right. If you're not managing the trust right, then you're in left field somewhere. And then how do you manage the trust right? Well, if you don't know, you hire someone that does know how to manage it. And then you have to know what you can do with the trust and what you can't do. And and also in learning all the legal safeguards. I mean, that's very important too. So that way you're not ending up stepping in some type of pitfall. So King is he's preventing us from he's teaching us how to identify pitfalls and to avoid them. And I like that. And I'm new to this game, but I'm learning.
Thank you, thank you. So down here, brother. This
Yeah, brother Abdullah can't get back on right now. He said Hank's not answering the phone. So yeah. But not yeah, like I said, following the rules, teaching us how to follow those rules, because a lot of conscious Moors, they'll teach and say, Moors are not citizens of the United States, which then triggers the concept that, we shouldn't be following any rules of the United States. You know what I'm saying? So then it's like trying to basically breaking it down like, nah, you're showing why we need to follow the rules, how the rules apply, the source of laws, the application of the law. We're under subjugation. Moors are under subjugation. So yeah, we're forced. We're obligated. We have to follow these rules. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. So while we're following these rules, we can work on uniting. Yeah. So building this trust. Yeah, it's all about trust. Uniting, whether it's paperwork or anything. We need that trust. You gotta have trust all the way around the board.
appreciate you, brother. I appreciate everyone who's taking the time to come into the course and spending the time. So I like teaching. I like teaching this information because when I die, I can't. It goes with me. I'd rather give it to the world, so they can better understand how to deal with this information and allow it to flourish and grow. You know, a lot of us been around and heard a lot of these misconceptions, and I'm just trying to debunk a lot of these things because nobody ever talks about really trust management. Nobody really talks about legal safeguards. Nobody. I'm the only person that ever talk about management and legal safeguards. I haven't heard no one even bring up that. They just talk about, trust and putting your property in trust. They don't even know what's the difference between an irrevocable and revocable trust. And I think Abdullah was asking me, like, what is the pros and cons, or we were talking about that. But I don't believe there is pros and cons in a sense. I believe there is just some people have better understanding than others. In that particular situation. Because if you understand how to set up a trust, right, an irrevocable trust to a revocable trust, then you would set it up where they know how to behave, right, complementary to each other, right? You will know how to make the chemistry work where it works in complement, not in contrast. That is very important to set up a trust that complements another trust. Not to be in conflict. And if there is a conflict, you have provisions in there, dispute resolutions, that help resolve the conflict. You understand what I'm saying? So when you don't understand trust, you set up a trust and the trust is not worded right. You don't have the trust language. And I talk about trigger language in contract law. Most people ain't never heard of trigger language. What is trigger language? Okay, the language that triggers a particular provision in a contract. How do you know? Why? So when we look at law, I need you to understand, because you talk about somebody who's very legal proficient. What is elements? They're trigger language. If you have a particular crime, when they say the crime must fit the bill, those particular elements must exist in that particular aspect or that law they're trying to enforce. If it's fraud, fraud has particular elements. This is what triggers if something is fraudulent or not, based on what the discovery is and what the elements exist triggering the application of fraud. Do that make sense? I just try to make it real simple. I don't try to overcomplicate it. I don't want to sound very intellectual because that doesn't do you no good if I start talking from a real legal standpoint. But to keep it simple, kiss it. Keep it simple, stupid, as they say. It's better for you, it's better for me, because now you can learn this, engulf the information, and then you can regurgitate it, making it work in your, for your behalf, right? So when you create a trust, I try to tell people, do you want to create a trust that give you favor or not favor? Go ahead, Glenn.
Well, I was. I would assume you want one with favor.
Of course, your trust, you always want to have trust that gives you favor. This is why these trusts, when you understand how trust supposed to work, everything supposed to complement each other, right? When you take on a wife, your wife's supposed to complement you, not be in contrast. Y'all supposed to complement each other. That don't mean that she have the same attributes. It just means where certain things that where y'all are different, she may be better in, or or just may be able to help you, and with through that help and understanding or having stronger points in certain areas where it's complementary, where it's not in conflict, based on the purpose, right, that you and your wife is trying to accomplish. Y'all come together with a purpose. Because I tell people, family is a business. I'm in the business of helping families. And teaching this trust course will allow you to do the business of family well. Why? Because it's going to give you and your spouse purpose. It's going to allow you and your wife to be able to give your children a foundation. It allows your children to act on certain principles. It's going to give you more understanding legally what things I need to be thinking about more critically. And most people don't tell you that if you have a trust, a particular trust, you should be associated with some type of expert throughout the year. You should have a relationship with some kind of tax expert, some type of land trust expert that you can give you. Huh? Okay, right now I'm on the class, baby. Okay. So you get a lot out of this course. It's just not about, oh, I'm gonna come in and take a trust course. No, you get a lot of information. The information that you get is priceless. The stuff that you learn, like most, you don't really hear. You don't really hear out there. No, like I said, no one ever talked about legal principles, nor talk about contractual legal safeguards. Now, Brother Israel, all the stuff that I ever told you or different terms or anything that I ever told you, explain how correct I am or if I'm off or any explain like every time you look up something. Um
Yeah. Yeah, in the beginning, man, everything you were saying, I checked everything, literally. Like whatever word he would say, I would type it in verbatim in Google and get the exact same information. Or however someone would word the question, how he would respond with the answer. I would just type in that question and get the exact same answer that the brother King would give. And I knew he wasn't Googling because he's giving the answer too quick. So yeah. That was reality. That was the reality check for me. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm just letting y'all know you getting a guy that not talking about law. About trust. You get a lot of information with that. I give you a lot of information so you can absorb because walking away from this, you need to have some purpose. I don't want you to walk away from this and be like, I'm still kind of in the dark. I want you to walk away from this being more inquisitive, but you should have some basics. You should have be rooted in some real foundational work so that you can grow. And as you be a part, one of the things, the misconceptions that I hear a lot of people and what they do with a trust, they want to be loners. No, I got me a trust. I don't want nobody to see my trust. I don't want nobody, to know what I get it. You want privacy. I got that. But what are you doing to educate yourself, keeping up with the laws, keeping up with everything else, time, technology, all of these different things that plays a factor in life? No, that's not what we're going to be doing. You should have some type of a board of trustees is act like a think tank. You should have a think tank. You should have a group of experts or a group of people around you that you associate with that could give you priceless information to allow you to grow and develop whatever field of study you're trying to go in. And that is the most valuable resource. Most of us is, man, I got me a trust, King. And that's all they want to say their house, put their car in, and they think they can go get some money, and they think about trust in the improper manner. They don't even understand how the trust should be. They set up a trust. They don't even know how the trust is supposed to behave. Because it's improperly managed. Because they ain't think far enough. They just thought, man, I paid $5,000 for this trust, man. I got this trust, King. I'm telling you, I got land. I did all of this stuff. And I'm looking at the trust and I'm like, okay, what other provisions you got in here? What legal safeguards did you use? I don't know about all them legal safeguards. I just know this trust, man. I got this trust. I'm telling you, man. I know what I'm talking about. I got this trust.
Can't trust that.
Man, I did this and I did this with my trust. I'm like, okay, gotcha. So I'm just me talking. I'm just saying some things, but I just want people to understand, like, this information is powerful. It can change. I yield.
Yeah, you got the key at the moment, bro. You driving. Abdullah can't get back on.
I'm about to drop off, but thank you, King. And
Okay,
I
you're
will
welcome.
see you on Saturday.
See you on
Saturday.
Peace, peace.
Peace.
Peace. So Abdullah can't get back on, huh?
Yeah, it's been an hour and a half though. So I don't know. Want me to read the rest of the bring the slides back up?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh well, hopefully I can do that. Let me see. I think Hank has to bring these to the front to the. Can you see the screen? Can you see the screen? Nah. Yeah. Can't get the screen back up. Brother Hank, can you share the screen for me? Yeah, Brother Hank, can you share the screen for me?
Back on. Okay, I guess Brother Abdullah got in touch with Brother Hank. It's on.
Okay.
Yeah, because he had just texted me. He said he couldn't get in touch with
Right.
him. Okay. Watch out, Sean. Let me see. I'm gonna text him.
So once again, this is the Trust and Contractual Legal Safeguard Overview, live testimonies from students. Moorish, brought to you by the Moorish Union of Sovereign Tribes in conjunction with Moroccan Post School of Government and International Law. You back on, bro.
Yes, peace, everyone. All right. So we have Sister Akasha's back with us. And Brother King. All right, all right, so we continue. We've got 30 more minutes, but we're back on. And I was listening, I was watching from Facebook. I actually clicked on from the Facebook. All right, so this is we'll tell you what, it's definitely yes, you'll be able to see the anyone have any questions, type your questions in the chat. Type your questions in the chat. We'll be able to see the questions in the chat. So I want you to look at the chat there, Israel. Any question, type in the chat. There has been, quite
There's a
a
statement.
statement, yes. That comment too. Comment or questions, yes.
All right. So, yeah. Administration of a trust is the obstacle we must overcome with success. And then another one says, a trust is not void for the lack of a trustee.
All right, so King, all right, so that's for the first statement. What's the first statement? The
Administration of a trust is the obstacle we must overcome with success.
Administration is dealing with management. The whole purpose is management.
Right.
That's what I said. It's management of the trust is key. So the administration is the one that actually manages the trust. So they're the one who's administering all the trust laws and rules associated with the purpose and intent of the trust. So that's pretty much it. And then when we talk about a trust can't fail for a lack of trustee, and that's based on territorial sovereignty. You're in a jurisdiction, right? So when you die, for example, you don't got a will. What happens? Probate court come in and probate your estate. That's prime example. You're in territorial sovereignty. They have jurisdiction. So the government give you the right to manage your own affairs. But if you don't know how, they will step in and manage your estate at a fee. You're going to be charged. Attorneys is going to, and trustees going to come in and they're going to administer your estate. Bill collectors are going to come in and they're going to get their cut from your estate. See, people think that all of this knowledge, like chasing this money, that like they think he's having a lot of Federal Reserve notes is the wealth. The wealth is in the knowledge. The people are not beating you over the head with the Federal Reserve notes. They're beating you because they're more knowledgeable. They print the money. They print the money. They take it and go through a printing press and they print it, cut it, and deliver it out to the people. But what are they using? What is their advantage? More knowledge, well studied, well versed, unity, based on the information that they have. So if you, when I came into this space, it wasn't to make a dollar. I was a nurse. I was already trying to make my money and evolve and go back to school. Like I tell Abdullah all of this every time I pretty much talk to him. Abdullah has he has a graduate degree. Abdullah don't have to be here at all. He can go to any university around this country and go make him some real money. He don't have to do this. He can go anywhere in the country, even probably in the world to this day, based on his educational background, with all the knowledge and skill set, he can go make him some real money. So when I meet a brother who is dedicated like that, who put made this more important than chasing Federal Reserve notes, who dedicated his life to this information, that was my kind of brother.
Let me say to that, one of my, y'all have heard me say this over 100 times, that I had taught misconceptions for 25, 26, 27 years. And it's only been the past 6 years where I've moved into proper concepts, and I've grown very strong over the past 6 years into the proper concepts, into international law, and particularly over the past year into jurisprudence, into legal principles. And so now, and then the outreach, that my network is stronger. The kings and the Israels and the Luisa Floreses and the Terrences and the Riceriuses and the El Patahs, and then we got the trust contract students, the Glens and the Kashas, and of course we had the Amandas and the Karas and etc. My network has grown big time. And so having this proper concept and the people that's around us, we can do amazing things. Amazing. We can liberate our people. I've always had outreach and connections, but when you have misconceptions, it didn't really go anywhere. It didn't grow. We can't grow the people with misconceptions. And that misconception that, we the people of the United States are the Moors. We the people of the United States, the preamble to the United States Constitution, we the people. We the people of the United States is the Moors. That denotes the Moors. I've taught that for 25, 27 years. On the back of the first Federal Reserve note, on the one note, the Great Seal under the pyramid, that has the Great Seal, and then under the eagle of the United States. The Moorish government, see, the United States is actually the Moorish government, and the Moorish government has a dual national seal. The Moors established the federal government, and the 13 states, that's the states government. So the Europeans established the states, all right, the states, but the federal government of the Moors. This is the Moorish federal government. So the United States federal government is the Moorish federal government. It's a dual national seal. The pyramid is the obverse, the main or chief side, and the eagle, that's the states, that's the Europeans. I taught that to thousands of people for 27 years. The Moors are the 35 Moors and 20 Europeans were at the United States Constitutional Convention. The Moors are the founding fathers. The Moors are the drafters of the United States Constitution. What you call in the United States Constitution is the Moorish Constitution. I'm just throwing out all the misconceptions I taught for 27 years to thousands of people. You can't grow. Didn't grow the people like that. So I now know, and Israel know, and this my dance partner, but Israel, he knows. He can spit it. He has a finding of facts. We have the finding of facts to prove that the Moors did not draft the United States Constitution. We have the finding of facts. We have the finding of facts that the United States Constitution is the continuation of European conquest, colonization, subjugation of Moorish land, and subjugation of Moors. We have the finding of fact. You don't have to say Abdullah said, Israel said. We have the finding of facts. I didn't have any finding of facts. Any. Abdullah, how did you learn that we, the people of the United States, is the Moors? Like the other conscious Moors, I'm like the other conscious Moors. Somebody said it. I'm a Paul parrot. I was a Paul parrot like the other conscious Moors. Now, no conscious Moors is going to say they have finding of facts on that. They don't. They got it from somebody, like I got it from somebody. I won't say that got it from somebody, and I just repeated it. There was no finding of facts. I'm not going to BS y'all. There was no finding of facts. There was no information that 35 Moors. I had no finding of facts, no documentation, no historical documentation that 35 Moors. I heard it, it was told to me, and I regurgitated it. So it's to be able to work on this book with Brother Israel. And we have the finding of facts. Israel doesn't have to say Abdullah said anything. He can stand on his own and present the finding of facts after finding of facts after finding of facts after Israel will knock you over your head with finding of facts. You don't have to say Abdullah said anything. That's the legacy. I want to be known for that. I want to be known for the finding of fact guy. Put on my tombstone. Finding of facts. I want to be known for that. I don't want Abdullah said to be my legacy. I don't want that. I don't want that. You don't do me any favors. You're not doing me any favor by saying Abdullah said. I don't want that to be my legacy. All right, so I just wanted to throw that out there because I taught them. I know all the misconceptions. I taught them for 25, 27 years, 30 to 100,000 of people. And as I said to Israel, that no conscious Moors are going to be able to challenge us. None of them. They're going to call us names. They're going to call us names, but they're not going to be able to present finding of facts. It's going to result to name calling. I already know, because they can't challenge us with finding of facts. So it's going to be, this is what they're going to say. They're going to call us names. They're going to say, you don't know what you're talking about. They're going to say, so-and-so said. They're going to present some secondary information that has nothing, that doesn't support the claim that 35 Moors was that the United States Constitution, that we, the people of the United States, are the Moors. None of whatever secondary information or that they present, it's not going to support the claims. This is what we've been getting. We don't want to pass down that to our children. Akasha got 5 children. Israel has what, 3 or 4? I got my daughter. She graduates on Wednesday from high school. I got nieces and grandnieces. Like, we gotta grow up. We have to grow up. And Brother King presented in fact, Brother King got the book. I told him to get the book. He held up Creation of State by James Crawford. And that's a very good book, Creation of State by James Crawford. And James Crawford was a judge in the International Court of Justice. He transitioned 2 or 3 years ago. He was, you had Ian Brownie. Ian Brownie and James Crawford were cohorts. And so James Crawford was a judge in the International Court of Justice, well known jurist, and he, in the table of content, I told King to get the book, The Creation of State. And you'll see that the table of content is very comprehensive. I'm only saying this because King held up the book. So the book, the table of content is very comprehensive. He also has international cases in there because he was a judge. He was a judge in the International Court of Justice. So the table of content dealing with the creation of state is very comprehensive, very detailed. So we want to let you know this is the type of study that we do. We're serious. You get a chance, King, you hear me? Bring that book up again. Creation of State by James Crawford. You have Oppenheim, International Law, Volume 1 and Volume 2 by Oppenheim. All right. You have Halleck, W.H. Halleck, and he has International Law, Volume 1 and 2 by W.H. Halleck. And this is James Crawford, Creation of State. So I've studied 7 different international law books. I get heavily into international law. And so I just wanted to, because King brought the book up, and I wanted to, in fact, Israel and I are working on the book, the United States Constitution as the continuation of European conquest, colonization, and subjugation of Moorish lands, and the subjugation of the Moors. And let's still so since I said that, let's give you a little piece. United States did not conquer. United States is not a conqueror of our land. United States did not create a European conquesting title on our land. United States had nothing to do with conquest of our land, had nothing to do with creating, surveying. United States had nothing to do with surveying the land and creating the title through survey. United States has nothing to do with that. The Dutch does. The Dutch survey. The survey is the title, a conquesting title, the survey. Great Britain took over New York and Camden and Gloucester and Delaware and New York. The Dutch surveyed that. The Dutch surveyed that in the 1630s and 40s. The Dutch surveyed that through conquest. So that's under Dutch conquest. The Dutch surveyed. Great Britain took over the Dutch survey maps in 1664. Great Britain established charters, proprietary charters, company charters, and royal charters, royal colonies. And then within the charters are the survey language. King George III relinquished the land that is laid out or surveyed in the English colony, 13 English colony charters to each of the 13 respective states through Article 1 of the 1783 Definitive Peace Treaty. So I have to explain that United States did not conquer. So the territorial sovereignty of the Louisiana Purchase Treaty, also Article 5 of the Northwest Territory. You know, the Virginia State claimed the most of the Northwest Territory by making claims on the charter of 1607. And so Virginia State ceded that to the federal in 1784. So there was the conquesting powers of Portugal and Spain and France, Great Britain. You had the United States of Mexico that took over that Spain is the conquesting power. United States of Mexico, took over. So through treaties, so United States acquired. How did the United States acquire the land? United States didn't acquire the land through conquest. United States acquired the very lands from the conquesting European powers through treaties. So Spain and France and Great Britain transferred the territorial sovereignty to the United States. The treaty becomes the title. So when you have two different applications, with application under the law of peace and the law of war. Under the law of war, you have acquisition of territory, discovery, conquest, annexation, subjugation. I'm being very detailed. This is how it is in international law books. So you have two different applications: subjugation and conquest or cession. So United States acquired Hawaii through subjugation. When you acquire the land through subjugation, it's a creation of a new title, a new conquesting title. When the United States acquired the Louisiana Purchase, the Jewish territory, it was through what? A treaty. So the title is the territorial sovereignty. French territorial sovereignty is transferred to the United States through the treaty. So the treaty becomes the title. So the United States makes the claim on the land through the title, which is the treaty. And so now through Article 4, Section 3 of the United States Constitution, it's managed in the hands of Congress. And that was agreed upon. So now why is it not Article 1? It's not Article 1 power. Why isn't the management of land and the creation of new states The submission of new states, not an Article 1 power. I can tell you. Why is it not an Article 1? Let me explain Article 1. Article 1, Section 1 of the United States Constitution. Legislative power shall be vested in one Congress that made up the House and Representative. But why isn't the management of states or management of territories not an Article 1 power? Why is it Article 4 and not Article 1? I'll tell you why. Because what? The states, there were six states that made claims in 1778 to the Northwest Territory, which is now called Illinois, Michigan, Wisconsin, part of Minnesota, Ohio, and I think was it Kansas, right? So in 1778, in defeating Great Britain in that area, 6 of the largest states made claims to it. The 6 states ceded their claims to the federal. So the Northwest Ordinance, Article 4, Section 3 of the United States Constitution, was drafted from the 1787 Northwest Ordinance. That's why it's not an Article 1 power, because it's not an inherent power of Congress. That's why. So the creation of new states is not an inherent power of Congress. That's why it's not an Article 1. Article 1 of the United States Constitution is the inherent powers of Congress, vested powers. But Article 4, though it's power of Congress, it's not inherent power. Come on, my brothers, y'all getting Jewish knowledge. Y'all getting Jewish knowledge. You're getting Jewish knowledge tonight. That's why it's not. Yes, it's a Congress power. Yes, it's a Congress power. So if it's a Congress power, it's not why it's not Article 1. It's not vested power. The states had to cede it. The states made the claims. The states ceded. That which the states ceded, they can what? Retrocede. That's why. People versus Godfrey, 1819, United States, the New York State Supreme Court case. So you got Jewish knowledge. A lot of attorneys don't know this. Ask attorneys that why is Article 4, Section 3, which is Congress power, why is it not in Article 1? Why is it not? Why Article 4? Why is the clauses, the section of clauses that's in Article 1, Section 3, those in the clauses? Why is that not in Article 1? I have to explain why. And we know that through what? The finding of facts. My brothers and sisters, we need this knowledge. We need this knowledge. We got to show the world that we have scholarship. We will get the attention of the world. Hear me out. You spit like this, you will get the attention of jurists. You will get attention of attorneys. You will get the attention of the world. You spit like this. You will be laughed at. You will mock that. You will be spit upon if you spit. We the people of the United States. That's the Moors. 35 Moors was at the United States Constitution. The Moors of the drafters of the United States Constitution. You will be laughed at. Happy the clown. Spit that. And watch the world laugh at you. Spit it. They will laugh at you. They ain't gonna laugh at me. They ain't gonna laugh at me. They ain't gonna laugh at Israel. They're gonna ask Israel what his age is. They will ask Israel what his age is. A young brother spitting this high knowledge? A young brother spitting this high knowledge about the United States Constitution with clarity? A young brother spitting this high knowledge of international law with clarity? They will ask him how old he is. We got to grow up, my brothers and sisters. We got to grow up. We can't be boys and girls. And right now, a lot of conscious Moors, I know I'm going to be criticized. I don't really care. A lot of conscious Moors are boys and girls. They're boys and girls when it comes to this information. Misconceptions upon misconceptions upon misconceptions. Boys and girls with this information. Akasha has 5 children. And I know she's tired of the BS. I know she's tired. I ain't got to ask her. I ain't got to ask her. I ain't got to ask her. A sister who got 5 children? I ain't got to ask her she's tired of the BS. She's serious. We gotta get this thing right. Israel got 3. I'm 5. All right. Hey, I want to change you by 2. Change it by 2. Yes. So I'm very serious, my brothers and sisters. The passion is because I care. I care, and you gotta understand the road that I traveled. 25, 26 years of misconceptions. We got to put us on the right track. Israel, Sister Akasha, you wanna give us some closing remarks?
Well, I don't know if I could say anything that could stand up to what you just said, but in closing, you know, I was asking myself, because I was told, my ancestors was telling me it's time to get my affairs. It's time for me and my husband to get our affairs in order when we got pregnant with our 5th, right? And I end up getting into, some foolishness, getting pulled over by the sheriff while I was pregnant. And, actually, repeating misconceptions that I had heard. Long story short, got the ticket and everything. The sheriff did lie and all of that. But I asked for a sign. I said, I need some guidance on this. I end up getting a court date on January 8th. Now, if you are more, you know what January 8th is, right? Brother Noble Drew Ali's birthday. So I took that as a sign, like, okay, it's time for me to step up and really take this more seriously, because I always moved as a more spiritually. I've always aligned with it spiritually and in the philosophy. But the law and the civics aspect is what I knew that I really needed to get proper. And after that situation happened, I put that question out into the universe, and I don't usually get notifications on YouTube. I don't usually get notifications on my phone. And what popped up was Moorish Mondays with Brother Hank, because I'm subscribed to his channel. And it was you, Brother Abdullah, speaking about the class, speaking about Stop Shot, speaking about the course. And I was familiar with your face from seeing you in previous videos, from many, many, many years ago. And just something in my gut told me, like, this is the class that you need to take. She's next, Mom. So, yeah, put that next. And something in my gut told me, yeah, you need to take this. Once I saw your face and that familiarity, I was like, yeah, this is the class that I need to take. I felt sure of it. I felt sure of it in my gut, because I was asking for guidance on how to move properly with this as a Moor. I even had an elder tell me, like, you've been carrying the name Akasha Bay for a long time. It's a responsibility that comes with that. And so it's time for you to take that responsibility. So I will just leave it with that. Like it is time. If we are really serious about this, we have to walk our talk, and we have to do it thoroughly, and we have to do it properly, and we have to be consistent with it. And so thank you. Sorry, that's my second and
Hey,
youngest.
no, you're fine. I love it. This is good. I love it. Hey, young man. Hey, young brother.
Yeah,
How you
that's my
doing?
yeah. Say hi, Shad.
Right
Yes.
on. I love it. Yeah, he can stay in.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. So yeah, that's what I wanted to say about that in closing. So yeah, we have to. These are the times. These are definitely the times. A lot of people have been claiming. Yeah, bring Kahir for me. Um, and I
Don't hurt
feel like
yourself,
these.
man. Don't hurt yourself. Stand up like that. Oh, you got
Yeah,
that good.
and
Right.
these are the times too. You know, you have a lot of our folk who are, they're upset with the way that the politics are going. But I feel like, being under a so-called, red uh being subjugated under the red wing, right? I feel like that actually puts a lot of more pressure on us with who we have in office or all the things that's going on. I think it's good that the fire is so I feel like the fire's always been there, but it's more obvious now. And
Mhm.
I think it's a good thing. This is an opportunity for us to really step into our full power, our full authority.
Uh, to recover our lost Moorish sovereignty. Yes.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Oh, yes.
Brother Glenn.
Yes. Well, I'm glad to be a part of this class. I'm new to this, but it's given me a lot of insight on how to handle my affairs in life, not only just for myself, but for my family, and actually the things that I do in business, trading, you know, like to have a business, uh, a business trust to be able to trade in, and then move wealth out of that and put it someplace else where there's minimum contact. Where know I need to learn all the legal safeguards here because there's a lot of things that can be done here, and we can build wealth for our families, for the community, and eventually build a nation. I think, this is the seed that we have to plant to to um, to build our nation, to bring our nation back. And I think we're the pioneers, the front runners, and I'm glad to be a part of it. I'm glad that I met Stern Bay because if it wasn't for him, Stern, I wouldn't know you guys. So thank you, Stern.
All right. Stern has been with us since uh, 2019. He was one of the initiative members of the caucus that was with Shem and our sister Tamara Hill. Israel.
Yeah, peace, peace. Yeah, like you always say, it's not a lot. It's proper concepts, and then mixing that with King, follow the legal principles. You know what I mean? So that's really as simple as it gets. It's not a lot. It's proper concepts and follow those legal principles. Like, don't follow man, follow the principles. That's
Exactly.
how we get through. Yeah, we'll end up making it to the same place. Yeah.
Absolutely. King. Brother
Right.
King. All right. Yes.
Yeah, I'm here. But I'm gonna tell you what I learned. And when I linked up with Abdullah, I thought I knew nationality, and I didn't. He taught me nationality. He taught me about how to think proper internationally. I had a lot of the legal nuances under
Mhm,
control,
mhm.
but he took me to the next level, and that was it. And from there, it was just I even further skyrocketed because I already knew how to look at law from from a lot of different aspects, from understanding the United States as a dual system to understanding how the United States operate and that the courts are components of the legal systems and the principles associated with all of these different things. Like I had a lot of the groundwork done, and then he just took me to the international arena, and I was just like, okay, this is what I needed. Finished off. It was closed because I still had a little bit of misconception still that existed. So we closed the chapter on that. So now I'm able to teach with precision. I don't teach from a place of just, man, you come and get this process. No, 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 no. We teach you foundation work. We teach you the true nature. We understand where to reach for, like when the United States make a claim of um, doctrine of discovery. We know where to go reach. We know about territorial sovereignty and application when the courts make that ruling and how to challenge those things now properly. Why they called us black? What was the purpose of that? What was the identifying you as black, Negro, and color? What was that? To keep you in a subjugated status. So they can continue to have territorial sovereignty by our own admission because we wouldn't work together. Because we are thinking misconceptions. To keep us in there through this knowledge, they use the weapon of knowledge. It wasn't money, it was knowledge. To hide your identity, to keep you in a state of saying black power, black power. To teach you about slavery, which is a misnomer. Because you can't reach to the international, that's not an international law term, slavery. It's not even in the domestic books. That's why it has no basis in law. So when I understood, when I got with Abdullah, it took me to the next level to understand how to think proper, using, I already had the formula, but he gave me the rest of the pieces that I needed. And the brother is so articulate. I'm gonna tell you, anything you tell Abdullah, he gonna look it up 100 times. He is thorough. I mean, super thorough. He sent me stuff every day. Ding, my phone be going off. Ding, ding. He researched all the time. And he is so with precision. He gonna tell you the case. He gonna tell you the people involved. He gonna break it down. He's very informative. So when me and him hooked up, it was like Wonder Twins. We form of whatever you can think of. We piled up. So, and now we can take y'all to another level to help you think, so we can stop saying, well, I got a nation, I got a government, I got this, I got that, come over here. No, it ain't about coming over here and coming over there. It's about us coming together, understanding how to do this properly, because the only way they winning is based on their unity and their legal knowledge. They suppress your knowledge so that you won't come together. Because you can't have a million-year contract. You can't have 1,000-year contract. Most contracts can go for 100 years. That's the standard. The only reason a continuity of a trust or a state can coexist is because the people came together and understand international law practices and understanding how to go and deal with that properly. So the basis of miseducation, the basis of keeping you in a particular status, and black is a status, They're keeping you out of the international arena because there is no such thing as a black nation that you can ever reach back in history and use the application of reversion of sovereignty. There's none. There's no international application for black people. So what do that mean? Anytime you raise an issue talking about you are black and you coming together as black people, everything is mute, especially on an international level. It's mute. So when you understand this on a legal basis, and I thank Brother Abdullah, now I can't nobody BS me no more. Can't no more sell me no packages, tell me no BS, misconstrue me, sell me some misconceptions, tell me that this is this. No, because we can go to the findings of facts, and I am very well with findings of facts, and that's for sure. So, yeah, and we're caught up in this information, and I thank brother. Like I said, the brother is here, and he has a large outreach. He's been doing it for 30 years. And he know a lot of people in this movement. And the purpose of this is to grow you in the right concepts and with the right information so that now we can move accordingly and they can stop making a fool of us. So our children don't have to die at the hands of police officers because they're labeled and subjugated in a status in which they have continued territorial sovereignty. Let's reach back, family. Grab our mother. Whisper in her ear. Mama, we need you. We need you, mama. Mama, wake up, mama. The house is on fire, mama. And she wake up. And she distinguish the fire. Because mama know best. This is why you honor your ancestors. You reach back because they already gave you the remedy. They already showed you where your equity lie. It's in your mother. So come over here, family. We're not going to argue about what more knows whatever with this and that or whatever. What group is better? It don't matter because we all in the damn same sinking boat. Let's call this boat up and let's row to shore together. That's it. That's all. There's nothing less to do. Me and Abdullah, I asked Abdullah, I said, Abdullah, do you think somebody else would have, figured it out? He said, mm-mm. And for the last 2 years, me and this brother, we talked on the phone for hours. Hours. Now I talk to brother Israel all the time. Hey, brother. And we talk. And we rooted in this information. So we busting heads. So when you come over on this platform talking about misconceptions, oh, y'all is in some trouble. You go, I'm telling you, my brother Israel is, boy, he cold. I'm telling you, he cold. He cold with it. Etymology, I'm telling y'all. So this ain't a debate. This is not a fight. Come in, look what we got. Look what we presented to you, family. And let's row this boat and let's go ahead and do what we need to do. So now we can move internationally and we can be one voice, one body with national pride, national identity, national culture. We can understand, we can teach our children. You can't even, if you want to pull your kids out of school, they can come and get you for truancy and all of these different laws because they want to keep you in a miseducated status so that they can continue to have the resources. That's all. So let's join the fight. Let's pick up this book. Let's pick up these books. That's the weapon. Use your mind. That's the weapon. Educate yourself. That's the weapon. Learn trust. Come and learn this course. Why do you want to learn trust? Because it's going to bring us back on the road to government. To think proper. Have a community. Build a community. You want your kids to be safe? Ain't you tired of things happening in communities? Why not us start building a community and safeguarding that community? And then we can have a private community. We can hire our own firemen, our own, and start there. We can start little micro cities, towns, and coming together and have national conventions on these different areas and work together and put in policies and think and grow revenue, grow our own food, teach our own people everything they need to know. So then we go speak politically. We have the right people with the right knowledge that can bring the right concepts and move this thing forward. We have the tools now. We got all the tools you need. We got the toolbox. We can do this, family. It don't take a lot. Pick up the book. Pick up the phone. Look us up. Call Brother Abdullah. I guarantee he's going to teach you the right concepts. Get in contact with me. I guarantee we're going to bring us into the right concept. We're going to all come together. Contact Brother Israel.
Let's leave out information since you're saying this. So let's give him my information. You want to put the information in the chat? Israel, put our information in the chat. Our phone numbers. Israel will put our numbers in the chat. Once again, this contract, trust, and contractual legal safeguard course. We've already we finished our fourth. We just completed our fourth session this past Saturday. We have 8 more. The course will be sold. The recording will be sold. We have the website is under construction, and so the course will be sold on our website. In about 3 months, because we got about 9 weeks to go, 8 classes, 9 weeks. So in 3 months, the course will be available for sale. It'll be available for sale. We will be doing more reels, and in fact, we're going to be doing another one of these. We'll be doing another one of these after week 11, or maybe after the last course. So we'll do another one of these. We'll bring up other students. I will definitely bring Akasha back. So we'll see Akasha. We'll see her in about 8 to 9 weeks. All right, we're definitely going to bring her back, and I'll bring some other ones that we haven't seen already. But we'll definitely bring Akasha back. So it's good that we got opportunity to do this, and then we're going to do it again. We'll be doing reels. So we'll do a 2-minute. We've already had a 2-minute reel for week 1 and week 2. We'll have Israel. We can get the second reel, the third reel for week 3. That's tomorrow. I'll give you the 2-minute. And so we'll do these different reels. And I said, we'll be doing this another 2-hour, and maybe after the 11th week or after the course is over. All right. So once again, Brother Hank, I want to thank you for this opportunity that you've given me for the past year and a half. Moorish Monday with Abdullah Il Talib Mosibay. Don't forget to smash that like button. Hit it. Notification. All right. And let people know about us. Let them know about the course. I don't know if the course is still open, because we do have a Telegram page. It's a private. We have our private Telegram page, and all of the recordings and the class material are sent to the Telegram page. So we'll be starting our 5th session this Saturday. Classes from 2 to 5 Eastern Standard Time, and I'm just. This made my day. I was looking forward to this all last night, all throughout the day. I was looking forward to this, and so I reached out to Akasha and Glenn and Amanda and Cara and Mark yesterday, because this was done at the spur of the moment. I said, "Oh, I think this will be great." And so King's like, "Oh, bring me on! I want to come on." I said, "Yeah, yeah, yes." All right. So thank you again. All for the past 2 hours and 20 minutes, my website's been scrolling across the screen, mooresandmasonry.org for my books, Moors and Masonry Part 1, Moors and Masonry Part 2, How Our Venus and Moon Rule, Etymology and Vocabulary, Supplementary 1, The Masonic Compass Square, The Connection to Mastermind, Keeping. Go to mooresandmasonry.org. Thank you again. We'll see you next week. I don't have a scheduled guest at this time. I guess either you'll see King as my guest, or will have Israel and I will do something. But I do have a scheduled guest for June 16th and for June 26th. But Dr. Powington will be my guest June 16th. He will be doing a book review on the Masonic Compass Square and the connection to measurement of timekeeping, my book. So he'll be doing a book review on my book. He is a Mason. He's a Mason. He's a Shriner. So he will be doing a book review. He wrote a book review that he shared to my Facebook page, Abdullah Bey, and he will do a PowerPoint presentation, a book review on my book, Masonic Compass Square. He also wrote a book review on How Our Venus and Moon Rule, and that's on my website, on my Facebook page. All right. So we'll have Brother Vicerious. Brother Vicerious is also a Mason. And Brother Vicerious will be doing a discussion on my book, How Our Venus and Moon Rule. And I've known Brother Vicerious for over 20 years. And he and I were born and raised in the same city, Camden, New Jersey. So thank you, Sister Akasha, Sister Akasha's husband, and her 5 children. Thank you. I thank all of you. All right. So allowing her to do this presentation with us. All right.
Yeah, he just got in too.
Oh, my man. Thank you, brother. Thank you, brother.
He said thank you.
Yes. I got to thank him. And absolutely. Thank you.
For letting me in the class. He just came in from work.
All right. Yeah. For letting her to class and also for letting her to do this presentation tonight, brother. She had a great value. Thank you.
No problem, man. All right. Thank you, brothers. I appreciate y'all.
Thank you. You're welcome.
See you on Saturday.
See you on Saturday.
Bye.
Bye, my man.
Right,
Brother
peace.
Glenn, thank you. Thank you, brother. Of course, Israel. Brother King, of course. Thank y'all. All right. So, peace, everyone. All right. Peace.